Hello YouTubers, how's everybody? Tagamon here. In this video I'm going to benchmark Dirt Rally on a single GTX 1070 paired with an old Core i7-860. As always, this video is recorded with an external recorder at 60 frames per second, so what you will see in this video will be pure performance. The system is overclocked. The Core i7-860 is running at 4 GHz. Let me give it a little push so we can verify that. Okay, it has 12 GB of memory and the graphics card is a single GTX 1070 made by KFA2. It is the EX model, latest firmware installed, and it is also overclocked in order to boost at 2 GHz. So there is something interesting about this benchmarking video. As you know, Dirt Rally does have a built-in benchmark, but aside from using the built-in benchmark, I will also capture frame rate data with fraps while the built-in benchmark is running, so I can record some frame rate data like I have done on my previous Dirt Rally run on the 1070 with the 2500K. This helps because I have more detailed data, and I can compare systems between each other with specific CSVs. So I was getting 111 frames per second on the 2500K with a 1070, and we are going to see what kind of performance specific setup. So let's go to the options. That's all I need. Video mode at 1080p with maximum multi-sampling and no vertical sync, of course. Multi-sampling is a bit too high for testing CPUs, but this game can produce very high frame rates, so I had to limit it somehow. It was getting too CPU limited, to tell you the truth, and you will see that even with these kind of settings, and of course the preset at ultra, we can still have a CPU limit, which will be evident in a comparison of the two runs. The 860 can still perform quite nicely, of course, but not as nicely as the Core i5 2500K. They are about close. I'm starting to benchmark. You see, this is the difference while the benchmark is running. Fraps is also recording, and I will be having performance data later. about to finish, and I am also ending the benchmark with fraps. The recorded average was 99 frames per second, so let's see if I believe we will be having the same result with fraps. Of course, let's not get crazy here. And the fraps result was also 99 frames per second. It would be difficult to be something else. 99 compared to 111 with very similar performance length. So we are going to have a very interesting performance comparison. I want the DRT file for later. Yes, okay. It was not very smart of me to close the benchmark anyway. I forgot to clear the Mesa Afterburner before. In any case, this is the run that I just did. The frame rate is quite high and the frame times are also very good. We do have some weird spikes here and there, 6 or 7 of them. I'm not sure why. Engine peculiarity or benchmark peculiarity, I'm not sure. The GPU usage is quite high but not maxed out throughout the run. We did see some serious dips at some points. Overall the performance was good however. CPU usage is medium, and as you can see hyperthreading does not seem to work. The logical cores are having very low CPU usage, and the overall CPU usage is a lot less than 50%, more close to 30 actually. So we do have some thread switching on this system. That's why it cannot max out its GPU usage. Some better CPU optimization could be needed, I guess, for the hyper-threaded CPUs. In any case, the CPU temps are quite low. That is because the CPU usage was not very high anyhow. GPU temps are also okay. The core clock, this is the system RAM. Yes, system RAM at 4 GB, core clock at 2 GHz, memory video RAM usage at 2.5 GB. And let's fire up the frame latency analytics tool in order to see how these two runs compare with each other. I think I'm on my 860. Yes, I want this DRT file. Okay, with 99.4 frames per second, excellent. And let me also load my i5 run on my network drive this time. DRT, my friend. Oh, there is only one DRT. How good. 111. Okay, I'm very happy when I am opening my correct benchmarking files. So 111 for the 1070 with the 2500K, 19 frames per second for the 860. Very good performance for both systems for sure. Of course, the 860 has higher variability and higher stuttering, resulting in an even lower comparable frame rate. So we go from 97 to just 82 frames per second, while the difference was lower if we just look at the raw frame rate numbers. For now, let's focus on the frame times. Sorry, I'm going to 60. Very good frame times from the 860. Exemplary, I would dare say. I wish all games were like that, with minimal jumps in the frame times. Of course, uh, we do have a very low length of running time compared to my other benchmarks, so the frame times do not get crammed up in this graph. This also affects the overall picture. That's why we are looking at all these numbers. Frame times beyond 16.7 milliseconds are essentially zero. Only these huge spikes have been logged as high frame times. I'm not sure why. Crazy. Let me see if the 2500K run was also as smooth. Yes, indeed it was. It was actually even smoother, but we will see the comparison of the two runs in a moment. The histogram of the frame times shows excellent performance. Aside from these registered delayed frame times, but they are very few. It only made the graph a little bigger, of course, but overall the frame times are at 9, 10, 11, 12. Very fast rendering. So let's see the comparison. Let me make this one blue and the 2500K red. So indeed the 2500K has faster frame times compared to the 860. The difference is not huge, however. They are very close together, especially at some parts. The frame times seem to overlap each other, but overall the 860 is slower. I wish all my graphs were like that. Sorry, but you know, real life gaming cannot produce the same consistency, especially the way I do my benchmark with very long running times. Very difficult to do the same thing exactly all the time. Contrary to this run, which of course you can see the same peaks and pikes are on exactly the same locations. It is a pre-recorded run, of course, so it will generate the same results. For which the 2500K is indeed a little faster by around 10% as the overall average suggested. Let's see the min, max and averages. Bigger dip for the 860 system. Other than that, expected graphs. Variability and stuttering a little higher for both values on the 860. Unfortunately, hyperthreading does not help at all here. Maybe it even makes things worse. It would be a nice idea to disable hyperthreading in some games and do some more testing, but maybe I will leave that for another CPU, a newer one, which would make things a little more interesting, if you get my drift. Percentiles close, but still with a few milliseconds difference. The 99th percentile has 3 milliseconds of difference, but overall the performance tends to be closer than that, about 1 to 1.5 milliseconds of difference, so very good runs for both systems. No real issue. The time spent beyond curve. And lastly, the comparable frame rate, which suffers a little for the 860 due to the increased variability and stuttering, but still we have a a very good performance result. Let me see if I can do some calculations, some quick calculations. 97 to 82, we have 18% faster performance for the comparable, and 111 divided by 99, 12% for the raw performance numbers. Of course, it depends which value you think has the more weight, but overall the performance is very decent for both systems. Ego engine is quite heavy on CPUs in all games that I have tested. Decent engine, however, I would like for it to be a little more CPU optimized, and that's it. Another video has reached its end, my friends. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in another benchmarking video very soon. Take care.